When I had just graduated from college, that summer after I graduated, I was 21, and I was traveling in Europe for about 3 months with a Eurail pass. And I was in Switzerland at one point, and I needed to get to Amsterdam to meet up with some friends. And I decided sort of arbitrarily to go by way of Brussels, pretty much because I had heard that they had chocolate and lace, and I'm 2 thumbs up on both of those things. So also I speak French and they speak French, and I thought a perfect town for me. So on the train I met a really nice Belgian woman, and she explained to me that there are 3 train stations in Brussels, and that under no account should I get off at the Midi station, which is in the bad part of town. Then she drew me a little map to show me where the hotels were. And she got off at a suburban stop, and I got off at the first Brussels station. And I walked out of the station. I'd been walking for about 2 blocks. But it just was kind of just wrong, you know. It was like being in the financial district on a Sunday. It's that, like, the buildings are tall and modern and devoid of chocolate, and there was just nobody on the streets except for the guy who was following me in his car. So panic, total panic, and I hearken back immediately to my high school self-defense class, where we were taught that a woman walking alone should walk with a great deal of purpose, as if you know where you're going, and this will keep people from killing you. So I'm trying to do this, but I have a really, really heavy bag. So I can't really walk any faster, but I do stand up a little bit straighter, and I try to walk a little bit more purposefully. And this is going to hopefully keep me from being kidnapped and raped and murdered. And it is essentially my entire safety plan. I go a little bit further, and I think, you know what would be better would be to go back to the train station. And the other thing that we were taught in our class was that you should never double back down the same road, because then anybody who sees you will know that you're lost, and that's essentially just an invitation for them to kill you. So I very purposefully went around the block, and I made it back, so that was a good plan. And my new idea was to get on the subway and just go to the downtown station and kind of start over. But again, the station was deserted. There was nobody there. There was nobody in the subway ticket kiosk, and I had to climb over the turnstile. And then I was looking for a way down to the actual subway platform, but I couldn't see anything except for the escalator that was directly in front of me, which for a normal person would be a pretty obvious answer to, gee, how do I get down to the platform? But I have a very profound escalator phobia. So I typically just find another way. In Europe, it's usually a staircase because things were built before escalators existed. And in the States, it's usually, because of the ADA, an elevator somewhere. Brussels, not so much. Maybe very modern and with a disdain for the disabled or something. I don't know, but there was nowhere else to go. So I have to do it. And I'm standing there on the sort of the brink of the escalator, and I see that it is both very, very steep and very fast, which is a terrible combination for me. But I'm standing there, and I start doing what I call the counting horse, which is, if you will, I follow the stair forward with my foot until I cannot do it anymore, and then I bring it back. And I just keep doing this, kind of indefinitely. And I'm doing the extended dance mix version of the counting horse, and I'm furious with myself, because I do get it that this is a ridiculous thing to be afraid of, but it is a phobia, and there is no logic there. So I'm doing this, I'm swearing a blue streak at myself, and I think, you know what would be a great idea is I'm going to put my bag on the escalator, because then I will have to follow it. Put it on and watch it go. And I can't, it's almost like physical paralysis. I cannot get on this thing. And I start crying. And it's at this point, this guy vaults over a wall and approaches me, and my first instinct is to be entirely humiliated, because I have no idea how long he's been watching me do this. But he comes and he takes both of my hands in his, and he steps backwards onto the escalator, which is, to me, amazing. And he says, "Allez, doucement, doucement." And I just follow him. I take one step, and now I'm on the escalator, and he bounds back up the down escalator like a superhero and is gone. I'm get reunited with my bag, which is yet to be stolen, and I'm standing there on the subway platform with some other people. The train comes and I get on the train, kind of as if it's the train, like it's the only train in Brussels. I have not established where it's going. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's very, very crowded, so I can't get anywhere near the conductor to either ask for directions or to pay my fare. And of these things, that's actually the second thing that's more concerning to me. This is very unpopular in San Francisco, a rule follower. And having not paid my fare on this train is causing me enormous anxiety, and I'm afraid I'm going to get in trouble any second. And so rather than be arrested by the train police or whatever, I get off at the first stop. And the train pulls away, and I kind of assess my surroundings, and now it's basically like I am in the Tenderloin. It's really, really sketchy, and I think, oh, you know what this is? This is the Midi station. The only place in Brussels I have been told never to go. It's now 8:30 at night, and I'm mostly concerned that it's going to get dark, and I think I don't want to be lost in the dark. That seems worse. So I'm just going to go to a hotel, just abandon every plan, and just get inside immediately. So I see hotel, and you know how hotels near a really sketchy train station are really great. So I just go directly there. I walk very purposefully, as if I've chosen it from a guidebook, and I'm passing all of these creepy bars, and there are these guys kind of lounging around, and every one of them gives me this full kind of body appraisal. I'm just walking. And I get to the hotel, and it turns out that it's actually it's a hotel / bar / pool hall, which is great, obviously. And there are no women anywhere at all, except that it seems like a place you would take a prostitute if there were one around. So I go to the desk and I tell the guy that I want a room for one person for one night, and he looks at me like, seriously? Yes, I really do want one. So he gives me a key to a 5th floor room, which is the top floor of the hotel. And I get into this little elevator, and I go up to the 4th floor, which is as far as it goes, and then there's this little tiny staircase that goes to the 5th floor. I'm walking up the staircase, I'm thinking, I couldn't be actually any farther away from that desk man. I am now totally alone in this completely sketchy hotel. I get into my room, and it's really tiny, and it's probably the dirtiest room I've ever seen in my life. The walls are stained, and the sink is stained, and the carpet's kind of crunchy. And there's a skylight, though, because I'm under the eaves, so there's this big skylight, and that's sort of encouraging in some sort of way. And I think this is the time to go to the bathroom. It's down the hall, and I'm not going back out there with the drunk people, right? So I go scurrying down to the bathroom and let myself in there and lock the door behind me. And there's a shower in there, and the curtain is closed. But next to it are this pair of men's shoes, these big shoes. And I'm like, oh God, that guy is in the shower hiding. But I can't bring myself to look. So I'm like, okay, so I'm peeing as fast as one can pee. And I'm ready to just get out of there. And as soon as I get to the door, I hear some other guy in the hallway singing in this really tuneless, creepy way. And I think, oh, he is wasted. There's no way I'm going out into the hall with this drunk stranger. So now I'm waiting it out. And then I think, what if he's waiting for the bathroom? And I'm just stranded in here. I'm like, well, but then the guy in the shower is going to kill me anyway, so it's not really going to matter. And I finally hear his voice kind of getting fainter, and I go back to my room and lock the door, and then I put the chair in front of the door, and I put my bag on the chair, and I employ the new safety plan, which is silence. I'm convinced, because it is the theme of Brussels, that if anyone hears me, they will kill me. So, and rape. I think it was mostly rape and kill. That seemed like the way it was going to go. So I'm silent in this. I'm listening to my little Walkman, and I'm sitting on the bed, and I'm staring at the window, which is most of the ceiling. And this is why I'm able to tell you that it doesn't actually get dark in Brussels in the summer until like midnight. Good to know. It's quite northerly. So I would have had plenty of time not to be there. Oh well. I woke up in the morning and I was alive, which seemed awesome. And kind of like enough of an accomplishment for one day. So I thought, that lace and that chocolate, probably great, but there's a moment where you just need to know it's time to leave the country. And I was at that place. So I just crossed the street to the train station. And I did not miss out on every single Belgian specialty. I did, on my way through the station, I did buy a waffle. But I just took it to go. Thanks.